Kendall, and today we are going to be going over our paycheck to paycheck budget. This shows a breakdown of how we allocate our budget so that our expenses are covered by our paychecks throughout the month. So to start off, we're going to look at our budget, and it is a little over a week into October, so this combined income that I'm going to put for budget is going to be a little bit different than our monthly budget, but that is because we've already received our first paychecks of the month, and I know that we had a little bit of extra come in. So for this column, it's just going to be for the whole month again, so it's kind of going to be a repeat. I'm not going to go over too much of the information because that is, again, in our regular monthly budget video, which came out on September 30th, a couple weeks ago. The combined income that we expect so far this month is going to be $4,885. And this holdover amount will come into play later on. And next we're going to have the mortgage, our RAV4 payment, motorcycle payment, and these are all the minimums that we have. Our phone, the internet, sewer and garbage, life insurance, and Netflix. That's going to be a total of $2,283. And then for sinking funds, the total that we're going to put in so far is $1,557. Electric and gas are in our sinking funds, and that will come into play when we're looking at the categories again. So for groceries, we decided $520. Cleaning, so this is where we did see an increase in our income. So we decided for our first cleaning, we're gonna get a deep clean, so that is gonna be $200 instead of the $135, and then restaurant is $75, and we're still gonna be able to put an extra debt payment of $250. So now that that's all listed, what I do is look at the calendar view to see which bills need to be in which paycheck. So on this page in orange are all of our major bills that we have, and then in brown is when our paydays are. So the 6th and the 2nd is the first paychecks, which will cover anything that runs until we get paid again. So we have Netflix and braces that come out of the first half of the month, so we will put that in the first column. So we have braces, $189, and Netflix, $10. And the next bill that we have is electric on the 14th, and so this is where from our sinking funds we will pull out the amount for electric, and that was $74. And next we have sewer and garbage and our life insurance. So sewer and garbage and life insurance. Let's see. And the only other thing is that even though the internet isn't due until later, I do put it in the first half. That is kind of just a personal decision. We get the bill earlier in the month, and so I usually just pay it as soon as we get it, so it usually comes out of the first half. So that will be $75. Okay, and the other one I want to point out is for gas. We're going to need that for the whole month, so we go ahead and pull out and allocate this $251. And then same for groceries. We do a big haul at Costco in the beginning of the month, so we just pull aside this money for groceries, and then also for restaurant, just in case we need to use it at the beginning half of the month. And then we wait until the end of the month to make sure that we can put this 250, or if we have extra, we just do it all in one. So for the first half, this is what we will put towards our first paychecks. So the extra that we're adding into our budget so far is $65. Since we saw that extra in the first half of the month, we're going to add it to this. So we will have $2,475 in the first half and $2,410 in the second half. So what we'll do, now that we've determined what bills have to be paid at the beginning of the month and then which ones we'll likely need also at the beginning of the month, we can determine how much we have remaining. So we will take our income for the first half minus all of these expenses. So 189 minus 75 minus 68 minus 38 minus 10 minus 74 minus 251 minus 520 minus 75 gives us a balance of $1,175. So that is what is remaining out of this paycheck for the first half of the month once we've taken out all the bills that are needed. And then this amount we will hold over and save for the second half. So we're just taking this number and moving it up here because we will hold on to it in our accounts so that we have it available for the second half. The second half has a lot of our higher bills, so you'll see these first three are our highest ones. And then also we have the remaining amount of our sinking funds to put towards that. So next we will look at the second half and the bills that we can put in this column. So we have the motorcycle payment, it's always hard to write with this coil. Looks funny. Okay, and then our internet, that is in second half. Again, we already talked about that. We put that towards the first half. So we have phone, RAV4, and mortgage. So phone, I looked at this 133 was in July, and then it's been 132 for a while, so I think maybe in November I might drop it down to 132. We'll see. So phone, mortgage, 1,150, and then our RAV4 payment. And then we'll go down the list and just see what is left over. So we have our sinking funds, and we'll take the total that we wanted to put towards our sinking funds, and then we'll subtract out what we already pulled. So these ones are sinking fund accounts, so we will subtract those out because they've already been removed. And the remaining that needs to be added to our sinking funds is $1,232. And then everything, oh, nope, we have the cleaning, which go right here. And then our extra debt payment. So let's double check to make sure that we still have $250 that can go towards that. So we'll take the income for the second half of the month plus the holdover from the first half. Oops. And then we will subtract out all of these expenses. Which gives us $250 for our debt payment, which will put our remaining amount at 0. And this sinking funds amount doesn't mean that we've spent all of our sinking funds. That's the amount that we're pulling from our budget that we want to specifically save for other categories. Which, if you have any questions about the categories we have for our sinking funds, they're all listed here. And that video on this was 2 Mondays ago, I think. So feel free to go check that out, and it really gives detail of all of our accounts and what we do with them. So this is how we determine how we make sure that our budgeted amounts are allocated to each payment. And when we have new bills, such as like our cleaning bill, we can see where we can fit that in. So if I do need to pay it at the beginning of half of the month, I know that we have some flexibility to add it to the beginning of the month. So if I was to pay this $200 in the first half, this amount would just go down to $975, and then we'd still have $975 hold over to cover in the second half. This is one of my favorite activities to do because it just gives a peace of mind for the month. It really allows us to see which paychecks we'll need to pay which bills and whether you need to save money from different paychecks. So I think this would be very helpful, especially if you get paid weekly, and so you could create a column for each week and then list out your bills and see where you'd be able to pay them. Obviously, and one of the things to make sure also is that they're getting paid when they're due, because we obviously don't want to get late fees. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys do a paycheck breakdown and if it provides you peace of mind, lets you kind of know where your money's going. I'd really like to know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye!